Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and other assorted gender assignations. Welcome back to the BTD Bingecast, where we take TV shows and movies and binge them in easily digestible chunks. Once again, I am Jay Winger, being joined by
Zeke.
Cat from Shadowcat Cosplay.
Sam.
And we're back for part 2 of our binge of My Hero Academia. In our first episode, we watched the first 4 eps of the series, and my first time seeing it, I definitely enjoyed it. Today we'll be binging another 4 episodes. And anything we need to add before we go into this? Is there anything I should know about these next 4 episodes that you guys can remember?
Well, you'll be introduced to most of Class 1A.
Right. Good thing I've got a notebook here so I can try to keep track of all these different characters. I know we'll probably get properly introduced to the rules lawyer guy with the vents or whatever in his legs, and probably naval laser and some of the others.
Well, are we doing 4 or 5? Because we're doing 3.
He was saying we're going to do the last 5 because it's pretty much the season finale.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense. As we get into story arcs that you guys may be more familiar with in seasons 2 and onward, then you guys can be like, we should binge this many episodes because it will, for reasons. But that's for later. So I guess we'll pause this right here, and we'll be back after the binge. And we're back after the binge. Looks like Kat is not going to be rejoining us, but that's fine. Me, Zeke, and Sam can continue this. So
what happens when you make food?
Yeah, that's true. She went off to go make
3 episodes.
She missed out on 3 episodes. It's fine. She's already seen them. She'll probably rejoin us for the 3rd part of the binge of season 1 of My Hero. But so the 4 episodes we watched dealt with Deku starting at the UA Academy and undergoing his quirk assessment and then a mock battle to get them used to hero training. And we get to meet some of his classmates from the one that I sort of dubbed the rules lawyer when we were watching it, who's Tenye Ida, who's basically, from what I gather, his family have been heroes for multiple generations, and so has a lot of pressure on him to excel and do well, which sort of explains why he's very much about following the rules, because when you come from a family of heroes, sort of stands to reason. We got properly introduced to Ochako. Forget what was the other part of her name, or something or other? Oraka, okay.
This is sad.
Uraka.
The more he mentions these names, I hear the voice in my head. His power, explosions. His power, speed.
With President Mike, yeah.
I love him.
We briefly got to meet some of the others. There was Momo, who seems to be very good at analyzing things and figuring out things from observation. We haven't really seen much of her yet, but
They kind of did, but only that I know her powers. What she was doing there in the exam, she creates things.
okay. We'll probably. It was in one of the episodes we got sort of a glimpse at several of the other members of his class, but none of them really got a major focus apart from Shoto, who has the fire and ice powers and is very powerful from what we see.
He's practically a demigod.
You get to know him as Icy Hot.
Icy Hot, very well. From what we were told, he got into UA on a recommendation, which means they clocked his powers. What?
So did Momo.
Okay, so which means that they got clocked by somebody as having serious hero potential.
They said 4 heroes had got in by recommendation. The rest were via the train. We've only seen 3 at this point in time, right? Icy Hot, Speedster, and Momo.
Yeah, that's right.
Who's the 4th? Have they mentioned the 4th?
No, Ida was part of the exams. He got in on exams, not recommendations.
Ooh.
Because he was there at the exams and was the one who like criticized Deku for almost distracting Ochako when he went to go try to talk to her, and he was like, "Are you going to distract her? Before the practical?"
Momo got in on academics alone.
Which makes sense given the scene that we saw where she analyzed everybody.
I think Todoroki had a little bit more than just his powers that got him in.
But they said they said that Icy Hot got in due recommendation.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
who do you think recommended him?
Yeah, I know.
That's probably spoiler stuff that
But my
I'll
thing is,
figure out later.
I'm wondering who the other 3 are. Because I swore Speedster was one.
There's 4 total.
Because he was still recommended. He still had to participate, but he was brought in by recommendation, I thought.
I figure if he was brought in on a recommendation, then why would he even be at the exams? If he's basically already gotten in, why even bother?
I mean, they still have to evaluate their powers.
That's fair, I suppose.
It's like everyone else.
It's one of those. It's one of those things that'll probably get brought up
we watch these episodes,
in the
get
future
just
episode.
out.
But we also got introduced to their homeroom teacher, Shotai Aizawa, Eraserhead.
Love Eraserhead. He's a good one too.
One of the best teachers.
Yeah. From what was established, he's definitely the sink or swim mentor. Basically throws you in at the deep end and expects you to either excel or fail. And if you fail, then he kicks you out.
Because of the kindness of his own heart.
Yeah, he does sort of give an explanation for it. It's just like the real world is, harsh and unforgiving. If they can't hack it now, they're not going to hack it later. Kind of idea. All Might doesn't exactly approve of his teaching methods, especially given the way he assesses everyone's quirks by putting them through a series of tests. He shuts down Deku when he tries to use his quirk just to throw a softball, because he saw that Deku was about to unleash the full power through his arm and just shuts his power down because that's his ability. And it was just sort of like you have no control over your ability. If it were up to me, you wouldn't have even gotten in. And basically expected him to fail, but gives him a second chance, and then Deku uses one finger to channel his power and send the softball flying, and breaks his finger, but it impressed Eraserhead. So
there's one thing I have to go back and rewatch, because I swore you heard Eraserhead say, "And here he goes," before he did the erasing of his powers. But he knew what he was about to do, and he stopped it on purpose. So he was teaching him.
From the little bit that I saw of him, that strikes me as how he operates, is that he is, much like Deku and Momo, he observes things and sort of draws conclusions and comes up with, basically knows how people are going to react. Which brings up one of the things I wanted to sort of mention, the whole notion that being powerless for so long, and Deku being the fanboy that he is, led him to basically study everyone, that all the heroes that are out there and other people around them that had quirks, and learned how their quirks work, and basically, sort of without really intending to actually fight them, but he did it anyway, came up with strategies on how one would handle that sort of thing.
He's Batman.
Yes, in a sense. And then he's Batman, who is then given the power of Superman. But it's not unlike a series of novels that I've read or am currently reading by Jim Butcher, the Codex Alera. In the setting, everyone has the ability to call on elemental powers from spirits that are called Furies. It allows them to do stuff kind of like from Earthbender in a way, but it also allows them to, ones that have metal Furies are like expert swordsmen. Wood crafting Fury users are expert archers. Similar things like that. Water crafters are good at healing. Fire crafters can manipulate emotions, and so on. But the main character in that series, Tavi, has no Furies. He doesn't have these same abilities. And over the course of the series, he joins joins the military and is tapped for great potential, but he has to come up with different strategies to deal with all the other Fury crafters that he has to deal with. And like a little bit of a spoiler, but like Deku, he discovers that he actually had, in Tavi's case, he actually discovers he has the ability to be a very powerful Fury crafter. But his not being able to use any powers at first led him to develop his intellect in a different way, kind of like we saw Deku do when he started fighting Bakugo in episodes 6 and 7.
So on the what do you say, the recommendations, they're not in Class 1A.
Oh,
Okay.
I know who they are.
But
now.
it's Todoroki and Yayorozu are the ones in Class 1A.
Yayorozu is which
Momo.
one? Oh, Momo.
So Icy Hot and Momo. Got it.
But there's not 4. There's a lot.
Well, they mentioned 4 for this test one. I'm wondering if those two, because I think I know who you're talking about. Well, because they're not freshmen, they're seniors, aren't they?
No, those they were already in there. They don't need to take the entrance. They're already in.
Okay.
So that definitely means that
they're
Ito
from
was not
1B.
one of them if he was taking the exam.
Ah.
Plus, let's be honest, from
Plant
what we
Girl.
saw of Ida's
Plant Girl's 1.
from what we saw of Ida's character, he would have absolutely insisted on doing the exam because he wants to do it himself, kind of thing.
Yep.
Because that's the rules. Oh, and Kat is here after missing 3 of the episodes.
Takes that long to make mac and cheese.
Anyway, but yeah, after the assessment in episode 5, that's when we got the hero training began. They paired up everybody in the class, had some of the teams take on a villain role and have to defend a quote-unquote bomb from the hero team. Time limit, gotta either capture the device or capture the weapon or capture the villains for the heroes to win. The villains just have to either capture the heroes or just let time run out, sort of thing. And of course, Deku and Bakugo end up paired off against one another because, of course, they would. That's just how these sorts of tropes usually go. And a lot of it, at first Deku managed to hold his own, mostly just because he knew how Bakugo would fight. But Bakugo figures it out pretty quickly and changes up his
Attack
attacks.
pattern.
And so we learned from that he has a lot of fine control over his abilities. It's just his pride and his recklessness is what's getting in the way at the moment. Because, spoiler alert, of course, Deku ends up winning. He gets seriously hurt in the process, but his team ends up winning. And Bakugo doesn't take it very well.
After you watch Icy Hot freeze a building.
Yeah, he suddenly, because he believes he's the number 1 student in the class, that he's got the most powerful quirk. And then he sees Icy Hot just casually freeze an entire building, and then just as casually thaw all the ice. He suddenly realizes there are people out there that could wipe the floor with me.
We've also got the thing, he even said it himself in a previous episode, I'm the best person coming out of this worthless school.
Yeah, at Aldera, yeah.
What's that mean to him? Okay, so that means I'm the shiniest of all the turds. You're still a turd.
He was a big fish in a small pond.
Yep.
He's now been thrown into the ocean and suddenly realizes there are some sharks out there.
That's before he even sees the exceptional ones that we're going to see in, season 4.
Well, that's very far. That is very,
That's
very
good.
far in the future. But,
Good stuff, man.
but talking to Bakugo, his ambitions, because we saw a flashback again in these episodes where he basically said that he's going to become more famous than All Might, become the richest hero in the world, and that's one of the reasons that I dislike his character right now.
The sad part about rewatching this is the fact that Bakugo is one of my favorite characters. Yes, I like Midori, but I like him more because of the way he is, his personality. It's like, I like Goku. I'm not a big fan of Vegeta. Here, I like
But
Vegeta,
there are
but not
such big parallels
I know.
between them.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Baku, which is
You
Deku,
could
which
just
is Goku.
swap places with
Yeah.
them. They might as well be the same damn person.
But the thing is, like watching rewatching these and going, God, he's a jerk. I forgot how much of a jerk he was.
But also,
And I'm
see,
sure-
you
yeah, I'm
see
sure-
a lot more character development with Deku as well as Bakugo
Well, they're the two main focus characters in
at this point, yes.
But
Essentially, he's a personal antagonist to Deku.
yeah, the rival.
Someone to
rather.
push him farther beyond.
Even further beyond. But talking of Bakugo's, the whole ambition thing, it comes down to passion versus fame is what they're going is sort of is the divide between him and Deku. Deku wants to become a hero because that's his passion. He's always wanted to be.
That's
to
his
be a hero.
drive.
His drive.
He wants to be
Bakugo, however, is more interested in the fame aspect of
and
it.
the money
And
portion.
the money aspect of it, which
You'll
is
never get higher than number 2.
exactly that's where it comes in. I mean, we have heard that said of people that if you love something, do something you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. It's like and stuff like that. Deku does this because he loves it and wants to do this. Bakugo is more interested in what it can do for him.
He's more interested in the perks of becoming a pro hero versus being a pro hero because
Rather, yes, exactly.
it's of what the job entails.
We also got to see that early on in like season 1 when it comes to Mount Lady.
Yep.
She wasn't worried for the most part about what was safe in the very first fight.
Yeah.
What was the best practice. She just wanted to be out there and be this hot new.
She wanted to get those
superhero.
get
Those
her
money
name.
shots.
Well, she wanted to get her name in the papers.
But you guys forget what All Might said in the first part of the episodes. The way that hero stays employed is by them being popular.
The pro heroes have to do that thing if they want to make
There's
a
a
living
lot of
doing it.
agencies out there too.
Well, that's something I'm sure I'll learn in
Well,
later
think of it like
episodes.
Marvel. You've got the big superheroes. They'll take on world-changing, earth-shattering,
The global
things,
level,
the
global or
stuff.
cosmic level threats.
But then you've also got heroes for hire.
The street level heroes, like your Spider-Man. And,
Oh, I'm going even more street.
yeah, I know. but
Iron Fist and
Luke
Luke Cage.
Spider-Man is like
He's a
top
bit higher
tier,
because
top
he's-
tier street level hero. Yes, he can move up
He's done
to
cosmic.
handle that sort of thing, but he is best at street level because otherwise he's really swinging above his weight class.
Because if you go off the new Spider-Man, yes, he's still new. He hasn't had his.
Well, even a veteran,
Comic book, he's
even a
been
veteran,
cosmic.
even a
He's had
Yeah.
power cosmic.
well, but again, his level is best at street is being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man rather than your friendly universal Spider-Man.
There wasn't going to swing off in space.
Meteoroids.
Asteroids.
Comets.
You like combining things, meteoroids, asteroids, and meteorites. Man,
Meteoroids is an actual term.
is it
but
really?
yes.
Ha-ha!
Meteoroid is what it is when it's out in space. Meteor is when it's entering the atmosphere. Meteorite is what happens after it's landed.
What's an asteroid then?
Asteroid are the larger chunks than that.
it's basically
Meteorites are often.
But would he be swinging from meteoroids?
Yes,
Yes.
he could potentially do it, but asteroids would probably be more likely. We're getting off topic here. But it's like the passion versus fame thing. I mean, we personally know somebody that was more interested in doing things to try to get famous and get rich doing it. We're not going to name names; they know who they are, and we know who we're talking about. Whereas we're doing this because we like to watch this stuff and talk about it, and
I'm hoping you all enjoy it too.
hoping you all enjoy it too.
One of the reasons they come back for the side tangents.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, we're probably gonna have a lot more side tangents and stuff in the future. But for now, it's like. But hey, at any rate, what else?
We had the stinger at the end of
And
episode
that's
8.
things ended on a nice little point for this binge. With the conclusion of this the first day's worth of training. But we did get a stinger at the end of the episode, and it introduced what you guys said is the League of Villains, although we didn't really get to know who any of them are. Just established that they're out there and they want to kill All Might.
Well, he finds a whole mishmash group of people.
Right now, they're the League of Three.
Yeah, there was the weird guy with the brain thing. There was
that was a no-move.
There was the shadow guy bartender, and then there was Handsy guy.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe him.
There's no way that man is old enough to drink. That's how you know he's at evil ball. When the younger ones are allowed to drink alcohol.
What? Who is too young to drink?
Bad touch.
Bad touch. The guy with the handsy guy. Yeah.
He was way too young to drink, but he had alcohol, so you know he got a bad ball.
I don't know. You can't really tell anything about how old that guy is because he's got hands all over his face.
I believe he's high school age too. Like
Okay.
most of the people that join that group are around high school or a bit older.
Well, that's presumably what we'll start seeing more of as the season continues, and then obviously in later seasons. But they had the whole bad guy bar and everything. But yeah, I'm still enjoying the series. I'm liking how they're handling things, introducing the fact that as powerful as our two main characters are in Deku and Bakugo, there are people out there that are much more powerful than them, and they still have a ways to go to be able to compete on that level, even in their own class. So they're not even going to like pro level stuff yet. But they did establish like one of the other students in Class 1A is the pervert of the class. Don't even know who the hell he is. Who the hell he is yet. I'm just thinking of him as Great Boy because
Close to his hero name.
Cool. Because he has the purple stuff all over himself.
So they are the purple balls.
Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Quirk is called Pop Off.
I'm not gonna say it. It's too obvious.
And the more he uses it, the more the top of his head bleeds.
Not gonna say it.
If he extends his limit, that's when they start to make his head bleed.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that.
Let's just be happy it's purple.
Yeah, if not like blue. But that would probably be way too obvious. But yep,
Sticky.
I think that's. God damn it! I think that'll about wrap it up for this episode of the Bingecast. Unless anybody else has anything they'd like to add.
That should be it.
All right, so
5 episodes next, and
yep, our next binge will be 5 episodes. So it'll be a little bit longer.
Shit's gonna get real.
Well, yes, because we're getting into the end of season 1. So
and don't get used to these non-cliffhanger endings, because God help you, have season 2 and 3.
Well, as I've said, if we get to the end of what is scheduled to be the end of a binge, and it's a cliffhanger, then we're just going to end it there, and I'll probably be shaking my fist at the heavens over it and screaming into the microphone. Not literally. I don't want to blow out everybody's ears, but
We will give you a proper warning if he starts to scream.
I'll try to give a fair warning as well.
Me a warning.
I'll put that. But for Zeke, Kat, and Sam, I'm Jay. This has been the Bingecast, and we'll see you next time. See you next time. See you next time. See you next time.